In this life, you have to know what you want and go for it. Do not let anybody talk you out of what your convictions are. You need to know exactly what you want out of life. You know what you want, have an action plan and implement it. I remember years ago when I newly joined my husband in the UK. I fell pregnant almost immediately, and I became very poorly. I had a condition called hyperemesis. I'm going to leave it here for you to see. I struggled to pronounce it. Anyway, all through the pregnancy, I was poorly, almost bedridden until, the 7 to 8 months. I became somewhat normal again and finally gave birth. I know it's common with our African community, our Nigerian community. Naturally, you want to gravitate to people of your kind. I was friends with the wives of the African guys that were in the army. I remembered one of my friends then. She came, she got a job almost immediately, and she started working. And me, on the other hand, I fell pregnant almost immediately I came. So our circumstances were automatically different. And this lady did not stop rubbing it in, telling me, how will I manage? I didn't even get to work. I fell pregnant. Wow, what is going to happen to me? How will I be making money? How will I be making money? It's not good that I came and fell pregnant. I should be working. She was just rubbing it in and telling me how important it is, for me to be working, and how she's working, doing so many shifts and making, XYZ money every month. She doesn't fail to tell me this at every given opportunity she gets. I didn't think so much of it because, I know myself and I know what I'm capable of doing if I put my mind to it and if the situation were different. Okay, long story short, I finally gave birth to my baby. That was my daughter. Once I started getting myself again, I was researching on things to do, businesses to do, because I've always wanted to do things for myself. I started looking into the job market to see what was available, and at the same time I was looking for business opportunity that I can actually start. Somehow Avon clicked. It's a company for women. They're into makeups, cosmetics, fashion, accessories, things that has to do with beauty and personal care and beauty. I stumbled upon an opportunity to be an Avon representative. 3 months after giving birth to my daughter, I took the plunge and I started with my little Avon business. In the evening, say around between 4:30, I'll take my daughter, put her in the pram, and I'll push her around the barracks with my Avon brochures under the. For those of you that have buggies and pram, you see, under the pram, that space there, I'll put all my brochures there. I'll be pushing her around, putting my brochures through the letter box. I'll come back again, collect the brochures, process the order, and I will deliver afterwards. I was doing this and it was going well. I remembered one day I went to process my postal order, because in those days we used postal orders. That was how far back this happened. So and the lady at the post office was like, wow, you're really doing well with this Avon stuff, that she has never processed the kind of amount I'm bringing every 3 weeks here. She was kind of shocked and impressed at the same time that I come here every 3 weeks with this amount of money. And each time I come, the amount increases. That was how well I was doing with my Avon business. So I remember this day, my friend visited. And we were talking. And she was like, this thing that you're doing, why don't you get like a proper job like what I'm doing? You have steady income, you know exactly how much you're getting every month, you can even do overtime if you want. Why don't you get a job? Why don't you get a real job instead? This is coming from somebody at the time. She has not given birth. She was not even pregnant at the time. And I just had my baby in less than a year. She didn't even think about the complexities of, childcare and the rest of that. She even went further to say, these men, you can't trust them. You need to be making your own money. In case anything happens, you need to be making your own money. See how much I'm making. See how much I'm getting every month. She was just talking and talking. I wanted to just leave her to keep talking, but I couldn't help myself. I couldn't hold it. I just said to her, my dear, don't worry. You cannot love money more than I do. I am Nigerian, remember, and I'm Igbo for that matter. If you don't know who we are, Google us. If you don't know who the Igbos are, Google us. You cannot like money more than me. Don't worry, I'll be fine. That was what I said to her in the most calm manner. I said that to her. Apart from this particular lady, there were other ladies that I was friends with. You know what these ladies were doing? They were not working. I would say maybe they are jobless. That is why they have the time to be, talking and gossiping. They were having a few time with what I decided to do with my life, with my time. Saying things like, oh, I don't know why she's wasting her time doing this. She's not even helping herself. She's just there at home with the baby and just, wasting her time and wasting her time here in the UK. And the funniest part was, after they finished their meeting, their gossiping, somehow one of them will still, come and tell me what they've talked about or what they are saying. There was no way I could actually avoid them because their husbands were friends with mine. So somehow, in one way or the other, we would meet. We would definitely meet, sometimes twice or even 3 times in a week. And to crown it all, some of the ladies attend the same church. Anyway, there was this evening, one of the ladies, I'm talking about a different person now. She came to visit and I was in front of my desktop, processing my Avon orders. And there were a pile of other sheets on my desktop, like on the table. And she was like, wow, what are you doing? You seem very busy. I was like, yeah, I need to process this order so that my customers can get their delivery on time. So she came closer and she came closer to where I was, and she picked up one of the order form and was looking through it, and she saw the items on the order forms, and almost immediately, she carried everything and was just going through each and every one of them. She said, wow, this is serious, so and you'll be getting 25% of everything in this order form. I said yes. So it means you're even making close to what we are making, going to work every day, commuting to work and seeing all the workplace wahala. And this is what you do in your own time every evening. She didn't take this whole thing seriously. She didn't think I was making this much money. She just saw it as something I do by the side just to keep myself busy. She didn't think so much of it. That this is actually serious. She now sat down by the handle of the sofa, like arm of the sofa. She sat down, was asking, yeah, if somebody wants to do this, how do you get into this? How do you start? How do you do this? I was like, oh my dear, calm down. As soon as I finish processing this order, we'll talk. I will explain everything to you. Obviously, she went back to their meeting place and she, told the others what she saw when she came to my house. And the next time I met my friend, the one I was talking about initially, the one I was talking about in the beginning of my story. I was like, wow, this is what this person told her. That wow, I'm making so much money with this, so this is serious. So that she didn't, she almost saying the same thing the other lady said. I was like, but yeah, this is not sustainable though. There's no guarantee of you making this money in a long term. She could tell. She has even confessed that this was huge, this was big. This was huge, this was good. But at the same time, she was undermining everything. And you can just sense that hint of jealousy in her tone and how she was coming through with everything she was saying. For me, I already know the kind of person she is. I didn't try to explain anything to her because there was no point doing that, especially for her kind of person. The drive for her saying those things was not out of her love for me or because she has my interest at heart. Is because of our own, jealousy and whatever it is that was going on with her. I was doing so well with my Avon business that I started sending products down to Nigeria here. Before Jumia and Konga, we had this big online store. I will leave the name on the screen for you to see. Yeah, I got in contact with them. We got talking and we agreed on a collaboration where I would be supplying Avon products to their store. This was huge for me at the time. I was now the official supplier of Avon Cosmetics to their store. And that was a very big breakthrough for me. Even though I was doing so well with my Avon business in England, I was getting more sales. I was covering more territory. Even though I was doing well, this collaboration with this supermarket it just took my business to the next level. And because I was now selling more products, I'm talking about selling in large quantity. I was basically supplying hundreds of products to this supermarket. And by the grace of God, I rose to the presidential stature. This means I had the president statue in the business, and this was huge. This statue comes with so many juicy incentives and then packages. So yeah, it was huge for me. So business was doing well. My business was doing well in England, same here in Nigeria. I was happy, and this was evident in my lifestyle back in England. You can't get light and put it under the table. That's not possible. It will shine no matter what. So it was so glaring for everybody to see. After a few years, whilst my husband was still in the army, we decided to buy our own house. And of course, I have to tell her, after all, she's still my friend, and she needs to know the new address and all that. Yeah. So I told her. She was like, wow, okay. I was quite surprised, and I didn't even give her any hints that we were looking to do this. After everything, we moved to our new house. We had lived there for some weeks, and she had told me she'll be visiting at some point. She didn't make it the first few weeks. I understand how hectic life can be in the UK. When she finally came, she came down from her car. She was just looking around. The look was given, is this the place? Like, okay. Anyway, I opened the door for her. She came in, and that same look continued. She was just looking, trying to, as if she was sizing up the house. And almost immediately, she said, you know what? We got the house too. We got a house up north. And I was like, okay, congratulations, that's massive, that's huge. When did this happen? I was just asking her obvious things that she was supposed to know as someone that just got herself a house. Her response was obvious that she didn't have a clue what she was talking about. I was like, yeah, this clicked for me. If I needed a confirmation about the sort of person this lady is, today is that day. Like, she's just full of it. She cannot stand any good thing that comes my way. That does not mean she can't do it. Just because she's not the one doing it, and she's not doing it at the moment, it just automatically makes whatever I'm doing not good and not up to, there. Even though it's so obvious for everyone to see. Yeah. The funniest part in this whole thing was, we were cool, initially when our friendship started. Things started getting sour, mainly when I started my Avon business. She was showing herself in a subtle manner from the beginning, but not so obvious. I didn't think so much of it. But I started seeing her true self. She was showing her true self whilst I started my Avon business. And her true person now came so clear when I told her we got a house. So she was so uncomfortable whilst she was in my house, And yeah, she stayed. After some time, she told me she was ready to go. I saw her off and she left. And of course, I had to deal with my fellow Africans, in particular my fellow Nigerian women. Now, this time, it's not extended to their husbands. So, I wanted to make this video without telling this story, but to me, I feel it to give it more context, for you to understand really what I am talking about. And I know most of you are going through the same thing. You are in the midst of people that just want you to remain the same, like your level to be the same. Once they start seeing that you're kind of leaving that position, you're kind of leaving their level where all of you are, it becomes like you shouldn't. If for any reason, they should be the one, going up and not you. And because it's not them doing it, because it's not them achieving those things, hitting those milestones, then you're not qualified. It shouldn't be you. And because it's you, it's not good enough. I know many people, maybe not all people, some people might be very lucky, but I'm sure most people are going through the same thing I'm talking about. This story has so many layers. If I continue with this particular story in this video, it will be too long. And for those of you that watch my videos, I don't like doing long videos, except you want me to start making long videos, then I will start doing that. So for that reason, I'm going to continue this story in my next video. Just let me know. Just say continue in the comment section if you want me to, continue with my stories. It's basically sharing my experience with some Nigerians, not all, some Nigerians in the UK whilst I was living there, and how I was able to, not just me, myself and my husband were able to, push through their negativity, their toxicity, and their backbiting, and like we say in Nigeria, enemy of progress syndrome. How we're able to push through all these things to succeed. I know this story is not complete. Don't worry, we're going to get to the end. The rest of the story is even juicier than this part I have told you. This is just the, this is just the piece of the iceberg. This is just the beginning. The juicy part is yet to come. So yeah, let me know if you'd like me to continue this story time series of my life in the UK, and I will be happy to do that. Thank you so much. If you've watched up to this moment, I will see you again with another interesting video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.